Hello, this is Nursing Tutorials with Joel. I'd like to welcome you to today's tutorial. Hope you're having a good time. Recently, I came across a movie titled Boss Baby. In this movie, children were sent to the world. They were assessed for what they could do, either to be as family members or as bosses in a management setting. Majority of the children were tested to work in the family, while just this particular child was able to have the characteristics of a boss. And finally, he was given the equipment of a boss and sent into a management setting. I brought this illustration to introduce us to the topic I'll be beginning for today, titled Nervous System, which is the boss of all systems. Right from time immemorial, enquiries has been made into the different body systems centuries past. Based on this enquiry, about three key philosophers have been identified to show keen interest in the nervous system. Historically, we have three of them here. We have the Alcmaeon of Croton, we have Praxagoras, and we have Herophilus of Kos. To begin with, Alcmaeon of Croton is a philosopher-physician, and he developed interest into the brain, into what makes up the brain and different parts. Based on his findings, he made three postulations. First of all, he brought the notion that human beings all have the capacity to understand or interpret whatsoever we perceive, unlike animals that may not have understanding of what they perceive. So meaning that whatsoever we see, whatsoever we hear, whatsoever we listen to, whatsoever we smell or touch, we're able to know this is what it is. Secondly, he also postulated that the brain is the source of all perceptions, whether sight, smell, hearing, touch. The brain is the source. It's what gives us the interpretation to all these sensations. And thirdly, he said that there are special types of passages that are responsible for transmitting impulses from the sense organs to the brain. In order to continue with what he has said, Praxagoras made a further inquiry into the nervous system. He was interested in how the intention of movement is transmitted to the body parts. He was interested in the fact that why is it that a human being can just say, I want to raise my hand, and here it goes, the hand is raised. I want to bring my hand down, and I bring it down. What is responsible for that? Furthermore, he discovered that there are special arteries. He called them special arteries, different from the normal artery, that are responsible for transmitting information from the brain to other parts of the body. There he coined the word neuron. He was the first person to coin the word neuron, which we use today in our everyday neuroscience. A student of Praxagoras called Herophilus of Kos further inquired. He made his own findings concerning the nervous system. Herophilus of Kos postulated that there is a difference between the nervous system and cardiovascular system and should not be considered as similar systems, meaning that the nervous system is made up of the brain, the spinal cord, and nerves, while the cardiovascular system is made up of the heart, blood vessels, arteries, veins, and the likes. So he differentiated that. Secondly, he was able to differentiate between motor nerves and sensory nerves. He said that motor nerves are attached to muscles, while sensory nerves were attached to sense organs. Then finally, he also said that there is a difference between the cerebrum and the cerebellum. These two structures are located in the brain, which we'll be considering in subsequent videos. So he was the first to strike a difference between these three aspects of the nervous system. Based on these historical foundations, we can define the nervous system as a system that is responsible for control of body activities, not just on it by itself. It also works with few other systems like the endocrine system to control. But for the whole entire body, the nervous system is the boss. Most decisions we take comes from the nervous system. So the nervous system is a very, very vital system at that. Structures that make up the nervous system, we have the brain, the spinal cord, and the peripheral nerves. These three structures make up the nervous system. The brain and the spinal cord are surrounded by meninges, and this play a key role in protecting the nervous system, or in protecting the brain and the spinal cord. Subsequently, we'll be looking at some of these structures individually. For the functions of the nervous system, the first function is control of movement. Every movement we make is controlled by the nervous system. You move your hands, you move your legs, you move your neck, you move your head, your body. The control is made by the nervous system. The nervous system also is responsible for interpreting sensations, what we get from our sense organs, like what we see, what we hear, what we touch. The nervous system is responsible for all these sensations. So it interprets whatever sensations we get. Thirdly, the nervous system helps us perform high intellectual abilities. For example, thinking, for example, reasoning, decision making, calculations, mathematical calculations, we're able to do it because of the nervous system. Also, music abilities. The nervous system plays a key role in some of these things, some of our gifts, some of our talents, and the rest. The nervous system helps. For example, in writing, people who are right-handed, who are right-handed when it comes to writing, an understanding of the nervous system will help you to know that the left part of their brain is dominant as compared to the right. So if I am a right-handed person, it means that the left part of my brain is dominant. If I am left-handed, it means that the right part of my brain is dominant. Explanations for this physiology will be made in subsequent videos. Also, the nervous system plays a key role in homeostasis. Homeostasis means the regulation of internal body activities. So meaning that your heart, which we don't have full control over, we don't have control over the beat of the heart. The nervous system ensures that it is beating according to the right pattern. It also controls blood pressure. It also controls our respiration. There is a part of the nervous system that if it is injured, somebody will stop breathing and it can lead to death. Yes. So even the sweat glands, smooth muscles, the nervous system controls all this and ensure that they are performing their function in the appropriate manner. Lastly, the nervous system is responsible for storage and retrieval of information. Whatsoever you read, whatsoever you see, names you memorize, and all the rest. The nervous system helps you to store them, and the nervous system helps us to remember them when we need it. Let's move further to diseases that occur due to alterations in the nervous system. We have stroke, epilepsy, meningitis, mental disorders like schizophrenia, mania, depression, and many other mental disorders. All of these are effects of the nervous system, even paralysis. Paralysis, where someone is not able to move their extremities, occurs majorly as a result of disorder in the nervous system. So having an understanding of the nervous system gives you better explanation of most of these diseases. Now, what is the importance of nervous system to nursing? I present a case study of a man that tries to climb a tree, and in the process of climbing he missed his steps and fell off the tree. When he fell to the ground, he lost his consciousness transiently just for a brief time and discovered that he now regained his consciousness. After regaining the consciousness, he discovered that he couldn't move his hands or his legs. He tried, he shouted for help. There was no obvious injury, no bleeding. He could not move the hands, he could not move his legs. He was rushed to the hospital, to the emergency unit of the hospital, and now emergency nurses received him and admitted him into the hospital. They also took his vital signs, took care of him. Now, a nurse will understand, a nurse who has a training on nervous system definitely will have a better understanding of why the man is not able to move his extremities. The nurse will know that this person is already experiencing, there is an internal injury or there is an alteration in either the spinal cord or a part of the brain. You will know that there is a problem with the nervous system as compared to someone who is not a trained nurse. So in nursing, we are able to understand the disease process, the pathology, the physiology behind most actions, most symptoms, and most signs that we observe in the hospital. Secondly, the nervous system helps nurses provide quality nursing care. It helps us to provide this care by giving us an understanding into certain procedures. For example, a nurse will be very careful when administering intramuscular injections to a patient because the nurse will have the information and the understanding that the longest nerve in the body which runs from the spinal cord down to the toe is the sciatic nerve, and it passes through the gluteus muscles. And at that point of the buttocks, or when administering intramuscular injection to the buttocks, at that point the nurse will have to know the exact specification of where this sciatic nerve is and where the place the area that is free for injection. So this, a nurse will be trained and will have an understanding of this flow or the pathway the nerves take so as to avoid puncturing or injuring the sciatic nerve, which could lead to paralysis. So with this, we'll be considering various aspects of the nervous system.